So we've got, we haven't announced officially, but I think a few of the signings that we've had up there have been made public. We've re-signed Trevor Lewis, and two players that were in Stockton last year, Colton Pullman and Nick DeSimone. We've also signed Kevin Rooney, centerman Kevin Rooney, and Clark Bishop, goaltender Oscar Dansk, defenseman Dennis Gilbert, and Nicholas Malash. And really looking at some of those things, speak to Trevor first. Obviously, Trevor was a big part of, really a glue member of the team last year, and we're excited to have him back. We've introduced a number of new players. We've had some players depart via free agency, via Europe, in terms of our farm system. And we look at all these guys competing for opportunities. We're excited about the two defensemen in Gilbert and Malash as younger players that we think have an opportunity to have some upside. Kevin Rooney is a player that we've watched the last number of years. Really in a fourth line center role, brings size, brings some versatility, brings some speed. So we think he's going to fit in with us. Oscar is a player, another player that we've looked at for a number of years. Was back overseas, and we think at this particular time he'll partner with Dustin Wolf in Calgary here with their American League team. So with that, open up to any questions.
You mentioned Trevor, obviously a nice fit there, and a guy that has some familiarity with the head coach as well. I mean, what for you? You said glue guy. What really stands out about the way that he played, the role that he had, and the effect on your group?
Well, I just think that Parks, he's just a professional, right? And really, there's some versatility to him. I mean, we saw it in the playoffs with some injuries that he jumped in, can play center, can play the wing. Became a valuable member of the team. He's a penalty killer. He's got experience. And tremendous person. He's somebody that I think is an example to all players in terms of how he goes about his business. So excited to have him back. I know, listen, we met yesterday on when announcing Johnny, and I think I said at that time, not everything gets solved today. So the idea that you're going to just go out and, quite frankly, blow our brains out here today really didn't make sense. You got to have also opportunities. There's got to be dance partners for you. So at this particular time, we think we've made some decisions here, made some signings that we think will give us some depth. And I think you've heard me say this before, you don't build your team. Today's not the last day that you have a chance to build your team. We know we have some work to do. Wherever we are, we're 6 hours into free agency, so we'll continue to work at it.
Brad, keeping in mind what you just said and what you said last night after Johnny, did today unfold the way this morning you thought or wanted it to?
Well, you always want to improve your team, Wes. It's probably not unlike what we thought was going to happen. So again, we had some players that departed via free agency. Wish them well. Eric Branson comes to mind. Eric came in here. Eric had a hell of a year for us. Think highly of Eric. Eric got himself a hell of a deal, and I'm really happy for him and his family. There's certain times that things have got to fit in your budget as well. I'd love to have Eric Branson here, but it's got to work, right? So those are. I'm just trying to think out loud if anybody else that's signed right now from our team last year, but those that do depart, you're happy for them, but you have to continue to work away at it. We've got some guys that need to be signed. We've got some RFAs that we have to be cognizant of, and we continue to work at building our team.
Not just from a transactional standpoint, but just sort of mindset and conversations here. How do you start the reset after last night's news when you get in this morning?
You get up and you get to work. So you can't have a funeral, right? So I know everybody's hanging their heads. You get to work. And yesterday, John made a decision to move on. We have to go on today. Today's, we move forward. So you guys can all write all your stories, and it can be doom and gloom. For us, we got to go on. So you look at opportunities, and again, lots of players signed today. We looked at some opportunities. Like I said, it's got to fit. It's got to fit from a roster standpoint. It's got to fit from a financial standpoint. It's got to fit from a player wanting to come. All those things, right? So we'll continue to work at it. That's all you do. So yesterday's over, right? We move on today. And we're worried about what opportunities become available. We've got some flexibility right now. We'll continue to work at it. Like I say, today's not the end of top players in free agency come off the board. You continue to build your team all summer.
What made Kevin Rooney a guy that you went after today?
Fits a need for us right now in that fourth line center hole. Versatile, he's got size, skates. He's good on the forecheck and kill penalties. I think watching him, he became a better face-off player as he went along. Had a great experience with the Rangers run this year. It's a player we talked about prior to him going to New York. So we think he fits. Again, we think he fits with the identity of our group, and we're excited to get him.
Just one more for me. Is Trevor 1-year term again?
1-year term, yeah. Yeah.
What's priority for you at this point? Is it looking at addressing some positional need in unrestricted free agency? Is it turning attention to some of your RFAs that you have right now?
Yeah, both, Aaron. You continue to look, right? You can't chase it. You know the players that are gone. You continue to look at free agency. You look at the trade route. You look at maybe opportunities that come up if there's cap situations. So all of the above.
Just from today as a whole, not necessarily just the Calgary Flames, but did anything in the market surprise you today at all?
I don't know if it surprised me. Like I said, the first day of free agency, there's always there's some big numbers out there. There's some good players. You can see I think you could see there's a premium put on some bigger defensemen. I don't know if there's anything that caught us off guard or caught us by surprise.
A lot of people were wondering, with Johnny leaving, would you go out and try and lure another big name free agent? Like, did you make overtures to some of the bigger names on the market today, or was this more purely about depth this first day for you?
Who are the bigger names? I don't.
Cadres of the world, or someone like Andre Platt. Like, were you trying to?
We talked to all the players, and to me, Salam, it's not just about a big name left. So let's go get a big name, right? Some of those players that you mentioned haven't signed. You have a pretty good understanding, again, where their numbers might be and whether that's going to fit. So I think I said yesterday, the knee-jerk reaction could be, we've lost Johnny, let's go blow our brains out. I don't think it makes sense right now until and there's got to be a marriage, right? There's got to be a want from a player and a team standpoint and a fit more than anything else. So we've certainly been making calls and have a good sense of what the market is, and at this point, these are the guys that we signed.